And welcome back. We are here. We are undead. We have a task. So since last time, I went and I let the clock run a bit. And if I can get not that one, I want to say it's this one. Yes. So time. We talked about it a little bit last time, but the way time works in this game is down in the bottom right, there's all that information on our HUD. And uh we got a sundial. And we've also got above that sundial a day, night, and phases of the moon setting. Um, the moon does a full uh, cycle in about 8 hours of real time. Or, sorry, 8 in game days, 2 hours of real time. So, doing the math, that makes every day about 15 minutes. There are moon gates, as you can see, there's one right there, and there's one all the way over here. These only open during the full moon, and only at night between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. During the full moon. So the point of this is there are 8 of these throughout the game, and they are very special. There's always stuff in there worth getting. That's why they make it such a pain in the ass to get to them. Now, this one down here, we're technically not supposed to be able to get to yet, but I'm going to because they're 2 in such close proximity. I'm not going to miss the opportunity to get them both. Opportunity to get them both. Thank you, mouth. Um, that having been said, it's going to sting. It's going to sting getting there. And as I mentioned, I think I mentioned briefly last time, during the full moon, the fuller the moon, the stronger the wolf is in combat, even though I'm not a huge fan of using the wolf. So there is an ability that lets you walk over water without getting hurt, but you can also just do that. And it's fine. And now we wait. And the door is open. Yeah, problem with you're not supposed to really be here yet. There's enemies that you're really not meant to fight, but also you can just do that. This brings us to another Stonehenge area full of items and power-ups. Many, many, many hearts of darkness, lots of weapons. Zombies that we could fight, but we're on a time limit here. And back out the door. So that takes care of one. Gonna just go ahead and heal because I know there's some enemies coming up. And here's the other moon gate. once again, another isolated area full of... There's going to be a bunch of loot in here as well. But this one's a little better guarded than just some zombies, so gotta take it. And both of these were secrets. We now have 22. And it's technically one ahead of where we should be. But like I said, did not want to pass up the opportunity to get that one down below while I could. Hey Victus. Ve Victus, suffering to the conquered, because that's just the kind of guy Kane is. While we're looting, want to do a little recap just to make sure we've got it squared at the front. Beginning of the game, we are in the world of Nosgoth. Nosgoth is a slightly darker than usual, not full dark fantasy, but certainly gray fantasy land. Low to mid magic. There's no eternal dragons or god sorcerers or anything, but you know, we have vampires, we have telekinetics, we have, you know, some evocation-y type spells, we have fucking knife throwers that can knock your ass to the wall. Alright, I'm tired of you. Damn it.
The heart of darkness.
But nothing on a like cosmic world-shaking scale at least yet. As of right now. And that's that. Now there's one more I might be able to get to if I hustle, but I doubt it. Another Moongate, that is. Anyway, just want to double check. North of Stenchen Crow, there's another one. Let's see. This is not Stenchen Crow. No. Anyway, this world is bound by the 9 pillars, giant physical constructs that are stubbornly not being highlit right now. There they are. 8 of them are the elements of the world, the domains that bind existence together, and the 9th one in the center is the pillar of balance that keeps everything in check. One day, a vampire goes into the council of all the mages that keep those pillars working and kills a bunch of them. Their paladin knight-errant type, who is supposed to keep them safe, shows up a little too late and gets wrecked. As a punishment for his lack of fulfilling his duties, he is stripped of his body and his spirit is bound to his armor and halberd. This man's name is Malik. He is of an order called the Seraphan, and he is Dick. Sometime after that, Wasserbund, Stenchen Crow. Sometime after that, the Guardian of Balance, Ariel, is assassinated by mysterious unseen hands. Oh, it's probably that cave right there. As a result of... Yep, this is it. As a result of that assassination, her lover, Nupraptor, is... driven mad with grief. He is the guardian of the mind pillar, and his insanity seeps out through all of his telekinetic strands and infects the entire... Whoops, I died.
Of darkness.
Infects the entire circle. Sadly, this means all of the pillars are cracked and corrupt, and the world is starting to fall into decay. Backstory stuff over. Now we get to our protagonist here. A noble named Cain shows up in a town one night, demands to be let in the inn. The innkeeper says, "Nah, dude, shit's crazy outside. It's dark. I don't know you. I don't trust you. Go." He goes and he gets stabified, stabbed all up, and dies. Necromancer Mortanius, another one of the guardians of the pillars, tells him, like, "Hey, you want to get revenge on those pricks that killed you? They're just some random band of thieves and hoodlums. I can do that. I'm a necromancer." Brings him back to life, turns him into a vampire in the process. Vampire kills assassin pricks that stabbed him and took his money. And he's all high on his horse and then realizes, like, oh no, I've doomed myself to be a vampire. What do? Goes to the pillars, and the spirit of Ariel, the guardian pillar, what was assassinated. A lot of assassinations going on. Tells him, you've got to go, and if you want to be free of the curse, you've got to restore the pillars. If you do that, then I will help you and free you of your curse. And that is our mission, essentially. We've already taken care of Nupraptor and fixed his pillar up. We went to go take care of Malik. I'm going to put on something less precious because I keep accidentally hitting that button. There we go. We've gone to take care of Malik.
Protected by the paladin Malik.
Because not only is he on our list, but he is going to be the defender of anyone we go to fight from now on. If we take him out, then we don't have to deal with him dogging us the whole way. But before we could kill him, he summoned up a giant energy wall and ran away. So he slipped the noose. We came back here to Ariel, and she recommended that we go talk to the Oracle, which is what we're going to go do now. After we have a snack. After we have a few snacks. Hey, there's the recap. All right, so we got 3 of those moon doors. We'd already been into the Implode Spirit Forge. We found the back door into that one. So that one we didn't get the secret. We already had it. But we have 22 of 100 secrets, and the next one is not going to be for a while. So we're good on that for now. Straight into plot stuff. You cannot, Shrike. Sorry, I didn't have my comments up. You can't go after the Mega Man style. This is a very strictly linear experience. You're gated off by areas you can go to, and they make it so you need certain pieces of equipment to access later stuff. Plot flags, things like that. So yeah, there is a set order. If this game were made today, yeah, certainly probably would have done that. That would have been a good way to go about it. If this game gets remade today, I'd be good. I'd be down. I'd be good with that. Probably not gonna happen. But I would be happy about it. It can be my birthday present. Someone get Amy Hennig on the line. Oh, and we got a new weapon. Now, there's something I didn't point out last time. So, in the box, right, the spells and items and whatnots,
Bone armor.
we can cast those because the sword and the mace are both one-handed weapons. The axes take up both the hands, and so we don't have a free hand to cast or use items. So while these are incredibly violent and worthwhile acquisitions, you can't use other stuff. So there's your trade-off. No items, no spells, just axes. Oh, and voice of dog. Hey, thank you for the host. Welcome to Blood Omen. So we are trying to get to the Oracle. Who can tell us how to deal with Malik and his various sneaky traps and tricks and ways of getting out of our grasp. Okay. So, for instance, we were talking a minute ago about how the game is linear. In order to get to the Oracle's Cave, we needed to go through Malik's Bastion and get punked. Oh yeah, no, I finished up Blood Curse, Scruff. That game was fun. I enjoyed it. It was more fun than I thought it was going to be, honestly. So getting through the Bastion last time got us these axes, which means now we can. Where's the exit? Oh, nope, my bad. It's not the Bastion itself, but it's the it was near the Bastion. That. We can cut down this tree and go on our way. Also, we can do this. It's very difficult to eat when you do this, but boy howdy. The Termagant Forest, we'll be heading there in due time. Don't worry about that. Slippy ice, more slippy slidey.
On the face of these cliffs, hidden amongst the complex network of caves, the underground sanctity of the wise Oracle of Nosgoth lay sleeping. Perhaps it was time to brave the winds and seek out this oracle from the vantage point of the heavens.
We can fly there as a bat. The game does kind of do you a disservice. The first time it gives you a bat point like that, you can't actually fly to it, and it drops you off at a nearby spot. The rest of the game, that is what you're meant to do. When you see that icon, you fly there.
Oh, little vampire, the game grows interesting. But with so many pawns, can you find the true player?
Tony J just wants to mock us? The hoot of Cain. There's some caves over here. We'll be here soon. But for now, Lieutenant, which Megabyte, yes. Megabyte I'm familiar with. I don't know if I'm familiar with Lieutenant. What's that from? Oh. Okay. I have heard his name in clips of Fallout. I still haven't played most of those. Any of them. I know you've told me specifically to play New Vegas, and it's on the list. But I've played a little bit of Fallout 1. I didn't actually get to Tony J, but I do... He was one of the super mutants, right? I've seen clips of a super mutant with Tony J's voice. And some King's Quests, yeah, another series I haven't really played, but knowing he's in them, I'm now interested. I do love me some Tony J. Super mutant with Tony J's voice is everyone's king. Yes. Well, good. I'm glad there's such a positive Tony J fan community because he's in every single one of these games and he's great. In fact, the sad thing, if they did make Legacy of Kain 6, which, not to get too ahead of myself, but the series ends, to my opinion, one installment shy of a proper conclusion, and it burns me precious. But unfortunately, if they were to finish that, Tony J is no longer with us, and it would be sad. And I can't think of a comparable replacement. New Vegas is super mutant. Oh, really? Michael Dorn? I love Michael Dorn. He's got another great voice.
The axes.
Oh, nice. And that's why I love the axes. Because you can just murder like that. They get into those stubborn, hard-to-reach murder zones. Unfortunately, I do got to keep switching back to the mace in order to knock down these pillars. Which, again, thank God for Varrock and the new the patch that cuts the loading times down to like a 1/10.
The axes.
Well, I say new to me. I didn't know this existed until Dagron pointed it out to me like less than a month ago.
Spiked mace.
You can spin about on your axis.
The axes.
And there are more weapons to come. There are more and newer interesting ways of murdering. In fact, I think today we're coming up on one of my my favorite implements of death in this game. I'm pretty sure we're going to get to it today. One of the great things about Kain and this game is that you are not a good person. You are a monster, and you are allowed to just revel in being a monster, and it's pretty non-judgmental about that. Like, you get to acknowledge, like, yeah, I just want to be selfish and kill things, and that's what Kain do. And the game lets you do. So, like, what most people get out of Grand Theft Auto without any of the, like, real-life consequence of acknowledging that that's the world we live in. This is so far removed from that sort of thing that it's okay, at least to my mind. Like, I can enjoy it more. That's why I don't really like Grand Theft Auto, I suppose.
The axes.
And Fallout, from what I understand, for the most part, is really good at letting you play out those kinds of monster power fantasy type situations, if you want.
Spiked mace.
You can play Fallout and be a boomer. So I hear. I watched that H-Bomber guy video. That's where most of my Fallout knowledge comes from.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, hey. Let me,
You already got a side stream.
Yep, yeah, I just gotta bring you up a little bit. You're a little quiet.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
No, I thought I'd stop in for a bit.
Yeah, you're welcome to. Voice of Dog has arrived. I was telling earlier about our,
College adventures.
yeah, our cultural exchange. How I...
Yeah, where I believe I was making you play Fire Emblem games.
Yes.
And you really enjoyed them, so it was okay.
I did. I enjoyed them very much, and you didn't hate these.
Well, okay, I liked the story. The story was very good. It was a good fantasy story. Playing it was hell, though.
What are you talking about? Look at these zippy fast load times.
Okay, this is wrong. This is the first thing I need to explain, because you probably already explained this, but when I played this game on the PS1, those load times were very significant. They were bad. So you're playing this on like a modded PC version, right?
Yes. Our buddy Dagron introduced me to a patch that a fella named Varrock, his Christian name, I assume, on his birth certificate and everything, made, that basically takes the PC version and turns it into the PlayStation version in terms of some of the graphical and quality of life fixes that... Not even quality of life fixes, because the PC version was just kind of an ineptly handled port, and so it wasn't brought over very well.
It wasn't very good from what I hear.
But it...
Smite played this at some point.
Possible. When we were on Arcade Pit a couple weeks back, he seemed like he got ooh when I mentioned this, and I was like, oh hey, Smite knows Blood Omen. Of course he does. He knows everything.
He's mentioned Blood Omen before, so I think that's in his repertoire. Which is, it makes sense for him. He likes these kind of adventure games. I think he would enjoy this kind of game. At least when he was a kid, probably. And then, like, you know, knowing what we do today about how great these games can be, you know, it depends on their implementation of various mechanics and whether or not they hold up.
Yeah, and there's a couple of games later in the series that I am anticipating, like, this clearly has issues, but it's also, like, this is... I can only think of one other game that plays the way this does.
Mace.
And it's like a little indie thing called Dink Smallwood.
Never heard of that.
It was like a little... I'm pretty sure it was a shareware disc at some point. Like, it's that level. I think you can download an iPhone app version of it, but it's a very similar top-down, non-isometric
The axes.
fantasy action combat-y kind of thing. The only thing that I can get next is, like, there were some Dragon Ball Z games for the GBA that were similar, but that's about it. So yeah, it's got
that on Arcade Pit actually last time we were there.
Different Dragon Ball Z games.
That's a beat 'em up. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they must be different.
Although I have been playing some of that one that I was doing on Arcade Pit, and it's a lot of fun. It's really
that game
fun.
Pretty good.
I would.
Wouldn't that game be good?
But yeah, so Blood Omen is, you know, it's got some rough edges, but it's a mostly unique experience, and so that I think gives it some points.
There are things I remember from Blood Omen, things I don't remember from Blood Omen. The things I remember from Blood Omen are mainly the story beats and some of the environments and some of the bosses. The things I don't remember from Blood Omen are playing the rest of fucking Blood Omen.
Yeah, bits like right now where I just walked around this entire cave because sometimes you are not really given a very clear indication of what constitutes a switch.
Mm-hmm.
It's that blue gem right there in the wall.
So what are we doing right now in game?
We have just finished Malik's Bastion. He got away from us, and we are now heading to see the Oracle.
Okay. Yeah, Malik gets away from you because he's got to be important later, right?
Yes, because he's the super paladin, guardian of conflict.
Yes. I have been...
And his keep was the part that I was complaining about last time, because as a kid, it took me a couple of playthroughs to actually get past it. Because there's no people and no... I'm just going to fucking run from this thing. There are no humans and no blood in Malik's Bastion.
Oh, so you've got no easy healing here, except for the Heart of Darkness.
None there. We're past it now, but yeah, at the time it was stock up on hearts and make sure that you are careful around the traps, because it's all entirely traps. There's even a dialogue box where Kane talks about how, like, it's cold and everything's dead up here and this is bullshit. But Kane,
I hate this. It's bad. Snow is bad, you see? It persists across games.
I was complaining to Dog earlier because we're supposed to have snow where I am right now.
Snow. It's
There's
terrible.
no
I don't know
there's
why
no
you
snow.
want snow.
Because I miss it. I haven't seen snow. Well, there was
You're
snow
not
a couple.
missing anything.
There was snow a couple years ago, and everyone lost their damn mind over like 2 inches.
Yeah, that's also a problem when you live in a place that doesn't get a lot of snow. Your entire everything loses their fucking minds when there is snow, and they don't know how to deal with it.
Oh, Shrike says snow's coming this evening. Shrike and I apparently live in very similar locales, but there's been no snow where I am yet. I woke up, I looked out the window, there was nothing.
Oh, is there a Steam sale? Seems like a lot of things are on sale.
There is. When I went to load up earlier, I kept getting delayed by
The Lunar New Year sale.
the Lunar New Year sale. Interesting. I haven't actually looked yet.
God, I've been looking at Ni no Kuni for so long.
Oh, it's
like
good.
It's $60 at base, but now it's $10.
Dude, I will fucking Ko-fi you $10 if I need to. Buy that game. It's good.
No, I could afford that.
Okay.
I've been.
It's
I've got
less
a little
of-
bit of money.
It's less of can't afford it and more of if you don't want to put forth, I will foist it upon you kind of a thing.
Specifically, Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom.
Oh, I haven't played 2 yet.
It looks really good. Like I'm kind of incensed to jump on the second game.
I everything I've heard about 2 is that it's better than 1. It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
1,
That's what I've heard. It's comparable to Dark Cloud 2, which is like holy
Really?
shit. Yeah, Dark Cloud 2 is the shit.
the first one is Studio Ghibli's take on Narnia, basically.
Yeah, and I'm kind of interested in that. I'd enjoy that probably.
They do some fun things. The game does kind of turn into Pokemon at one point, but it doesn't like get up your ass
Yeah.
about it.
I'm on this big RPG kick for months now, ever since like Omori came out, and I was doing what else have I did weird and unfortunate things are happening.
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah, and Yakuza Like a Dragon is in like 60 hours of like gameplay at this point.
I started up last week the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh yeah, how's that?
It's very good. It is very, very good. Because I got tired
I've
of
heard good things.
bashing my head against this one spot in Revengeance that I just like need to step away from for a second.
Ah, you it's too hard, you say.
Yes. And it's probably going to be a while. But anyway, I was watching Chip's videos because Chip is very good at Revengeance and very good at explaining how to play Revengeance.
Yes. is very good at that.
And he's also currently working on like a very long form LP on the remake. And every time I went to go look up a Revengeance video, I kept seeing Final Fantasy Remake. Oh, damn it.
I will play that game when it comes out on
Heart of
PC,
Darkness.
and when I have a decent enough video card. It
So-
may cost me a bit of money to play, but I will eventually do that.
Yeah, I saw your tweet the other day. I was doing some research to see if I could get you anything, but nothing I found was less than $400.
Yeah, well, no, that's like I would spend $400 or $500 for a video card right now, but you can't find it for that price.
Oh yeah, it was also everything I saw was out of stock as well. $400
Exactly.
eventually, I should say. I think it was
Yeah, no, it's a combination of things. It's a combination of tariffs. It's a combination of Bitcoin miners driving out the stock. And it's a combination of COVID killing the, production lines.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you're at, like I was looking up this new
Spiked mace.
PC I bought. You can still get, that model on the big websites for about
Probably an extra
$1,000.
$200-300.
A little more than 200-300. It's about 1,000 total.
Wow.
But like I needed a computer, so for me it was, worth that investment.
So you did it at the right time, in other words.
Yeah, I was working on
What kind of graphics card did you get?
2070 Super.
That's what I want, damn it. I want a 2060 Super at the least.
So yeah,
Yeah.
for those purposes it was great.
The axes.
Yeah, that would be my ideal card right now. It's a good upgrade from my current one.
The brand is called I Buy Power. I
Spiked mace.
never heard of it
It's a
before.
pretty standard brand. It's
Okay.
like a pretty standard, like, generic brand for builds. I don't know if they're good or bad. I couldn't say either. But if it's working for you, then what the hell, right?
Yeah, I haven't had any problems. Yeah, it's been working great. I had been out of, like, I hadn't kept up to date with this sort of thing. I had been running off the same laptop I bought back in, like, 2013, since
Yeah,
2013.
you needed an upgrade, especially if you're going to continue streaming.
Yeah, so I wasn't, like, I had to do a little bit of research, and, yeah, they seemed like a perfectly serviceable, mid-range, and I had a little bit of money to spend, so might as well get something that'll, at least future-proof for a few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the future-proofing is impossible as a concept.
Sure.
You know?
But
That's the thing that I keep seeing, and like I believe that wholly. But I mean, you can still buy something that will last you for the next decade or so.
Yeah.
Given that you don't have to be at the top of every game's ultra settings quality list.
Yeah, no, certainly not. Like, back when I bought that laptop, hold on.
Oh yeah, this seems like this looks like the fucking Mega Man X2 spike corridor. You get the
Not
get
near.
the fucking
It's a very similar shape. Rotate it 90 degrees, and this is how you get the Hadoken.
right, to get the Hadoken or to get the Shoryuken. Sorry.
Oh yeah, the Hadoken was in the first game.
The axes.
Yeah, back when I bought that laptop in 2013, my entire I hope everybody's enjoying Tech Time. I'll stop when we get to a. I'll stop.
I think it's a problem.
I assure you, we're not
You're in the
talking
middle
over
of a
anything.
dungeon, right?
Yeah, like we're not. There's not much to be talked over at this point.
If anybody objects to Tech Time, please let me know, and I will stop immediately. Otherwise, I will continue.
But anyway, when I bought that laptop, my go-to line, right, the thing that I kept in mind was like, in order to avoid spending $1 trillion, was
Yes.
StarCraft 2. At the time, StarCraft 2 was probably the most intensive thing I would ever want to play on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, because I think Crisis 2 and Crisis 1 and 2 at the time were the big go-to, bar setters for that sort of thing, and I really had no interest in those. And still don't. I've never played them. They might be great. They've never... But for the amount of hardware investment you needed to run those, it wasn't worth it to me to spend that money.
I played a little bit. I played StarCraft 2 1 or 2. I think I played the first couple of campaigns. I played this up to the Zerg campaign.
Well, the the fun part was those were what I used to set my bar, but I never actually ended up playing them.
Oh, that's too bad. They're pretty fun.
I enjoyed the first one back in the day.
Yeah, it was really no. I think they were pretty good campaigns. You know, as far as campaigns go, as far as strategy game campaigns go, I don't know like what the hardcore StarCraft fans think about it.
I mean, that would be entirely like how the multiplayer works, which is not really my interest.
Right, that's a whole different world.
We got this loping demon creature. Yeah, so that's actually something relevant. We're starting to see more like aberrant and demonic-y type monsters, not just, animals and brigands.
I'm assuming they don't have blood you can get.
No. Green blood, red blood heals. Blue blood restores your poison. They restores your magic, rather. They have green blood, which they don't stun and you can't actually drink them, but some creatures with green blood you can do that. It will fill your tank. You'll drink it and it will be blood, but it's poison, so then you'll start ticking down.
The axes.
So it's temporary health.
Yes. And if you have an antidote, then it's health. You just have to remember to, take your antidote afterwards.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And then there are undead creatures with black blood, and that actively drains your health. That hurts you.
That hurts you.
And this cave just keeps going. So that's going to go down there. I also love this top-down view. You can just kind of plot your course.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so this
Jimmy
goes back
is advertising.
Up. Oh, pulsating mass?
Yeah.
Still
He doesn't usually... He didn't do sales at first, but now he's doing sales.
That's good. Presumably that means, he's made his money back and can afford to do so.
Yeah, I hope so.
The axes.
I like to think that we helped him out a bit. Let's see.
Spiked mace.
Last played March 17th, 2020. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, it's $10. $10.50.
Oh, that's not bad.
Really good deal.
So Nino
That
Kuni
was like...
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Nino Kuni 2, you said, is the one that's on sale. Is the first one also?
Yeah, it went from $60 to $10, so
Oh,
I might
sweet.
pick that up.
I can highly recommend the first one.
Yeah.
It's cute and fun. And
Yeah, the art style looks really nice. It's hard to dislike a game when it's got such a solid art style.
It's
unless
Ghibli.
it's like terminally dull, which it's
It's
kind of
not.
hard to do that.
It's not. It does kind of meander a bit, but it's a fairy tale. Fairy tales are kind of built to meander.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's literally Studio Ghibli. It's their
Hidden
foray.
amongst the many obscure artifacts in that museum, I discovered an ancient chronicle.
Oh, you got
This
subtitles too.
passage caught my
Yes.
That's
eye. It was
different.
during
Like,
these
I
dark
remember
times
having to
infested
strain
with the
myself to
plague of
hear
the
everything.
undead that the Circle brought the Seraphan to existence. Trained to be devoutly loyal to the Circle,
Wait
and
a
the
minute.
perfect exterminators of the undead
I don't have
scourge,
sound
they
on
were
my
led to many victories
side
by the
stream.
righteous paladin, Malek, protector of the Pillar of Conflict. They cleansed the vampires with fire and released their souls to more blessed realms. There is no wrath as terrible as that of the...
Oh, it just went and then
Oh, no.
Stop the stream.
1 second. I switched over the side stream to the active
sorry.
window. It's fine. I didn't know it would do that. Sorry, folks. A little hiccup.
Did we lose progress?
No. Fortunately, there was a save point in the room right
Oh,
before
thank
that.
God. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. Save early, save often.
Yeah, really. You're not kidding.
You should have sound now, though. Oh, wait. That's fucking weird. Huh.
No, wait, it didn't go. It went and then stopped.
Yeah, so, things I'm learning. before I had you on, I was streaming just the OBS window, which I guess doesn't put out the audio. I switched it over to the active game window in Discord, and doing that closes the game.
Oh.
Fucking weird.
Oh, so it must be a hotkey overlap.
No, this is with the mouse. I'm clicking things with a mouse.
Huh,
I'm
weird.
not touching keys. That's so fucking weird. I've never seen anything that does that before.
Well, I'm not worried about the sound too much.
Because we have subtitles.
That's why we have subtitles.
Yeah, the Varric patch also added subtitles in multiple
I
languages.
know his voice in my head. Like, I know what he sounds like.
Simon Templeton has a very, very distinct voice. I'll probably, like, go over credits and things a bunch. Earlier we were talking about Tony J's. Simon Templeton, if you play Uncharted, is the voice of Roman, the great white treasure hunter villain that gets supplanted by
Right.
Navarro, Robert Atkin Downes, later on.
Hidden amidst the many obscure artifacts in that museum, I discovered.
So since we went over this before, this is our first introduction to who the Seraphen are.
It was during these dark times, infested with the plague
The
of
Circle,
the
the
Circle
sorcerers who
of
protect the
Seraphan
pillars, the Circle of Guardians.
trained
After
loyal to the Circle and the perfect exterminator.
after going on a vampire they discovered vampires in the land. That's why we saw they were being put up on stakes at the beginning of the game.
Cleansed the vampires with fire and released their
They
souls
formed
from
an
their
order
blessed realm.
of
There was
Templars
no wrath as
to
terrible
seek out
as
and
that
destroy
of the witches.
vampires. That is their only purpose in life.
I'd
They
read
are
enough.
a genocidal
At
pack
once,
of
disgusted and intrigued,
knights,
I placed the book back down in that museum.
and Cain is not happy about what they do.
A guillotine, its blade still wet with blood. The shield was newly crafted. Its metal shone brightly in the firelight. The crest I did not recognize.
And Malik, before he was damned and turned into a guardian, was their leader, their general.
Odd. This armor resembled that of the ward and his minions, yet the steel seemed newly fashioned and untarnished by time. I recognized this crest from my youth. 'Tis the sigil of the mighty lion of Willendorf, blood-stained and rusted upon this battered shield.
Might want to tuck those last two in the back of your head. The ancient armor that is still pristine and the Lion of Willendorf. Just hold them on the back burner for a bit.
Oh, yeah?
A nobleman, seeking wisdom. Death has taught you well.
Enough philosophy. I seek answers.
Answers indeed. I have them all if
Who is
you
this
have the
again?
question.
This is the
And
Oracle.
what are the questions
The
for
Oracle.
these
He's not one of the
answers?
pillar guys?
King Atmar, the only hope to defeat the legions of the Nemesis. King Atmar, paralyzed by his princess's malaise. King Atmar, the useless. Pray, good sir, what are the questions?
A pox upon your tricks and babble, old man. Answer me this. Who is Malik, and how can I defeat him?
All in time, Sirrah. Yes, time. Unless you master it, it will master you. And now it's time for your answer. Malik, defender of the Nine, and last of the Seraphin sorcerer priests. His vanity.
Wait, are the
led to
Seraphin a different
slaughter
group
of
from the Pillar
Circle
Guardians?
At the
The
hands
Seraphin
of the
are the private army of
For
the
his
Pillar
failing,
Guardians.
His spirit was
Okay.
fused to a hellish set of magical armor. He has allowed no member of the Circle to fall since.
What of this Vorador?
Follow the glow of the Ignis Fatuus to the Termagant Forest.
Ignis Fatuus.
The Ignis Fatuus lights the path to hell.
Vorador. That name sounds familiar.
Vorador is great.
Time, Kay. Next time.
Yes, we now
Do
have
we know anything about him yet? Because I remember one thing about him.
we saw him in the opening movie, and that we were just getting that was kind of a clip show from the opening cutscene. Vorador is the vampire that snuck into the cathedral and slaughtered the members of the Circle.
Okay. Yeah, that was the one thing I remember about him, is that he's a vampire, which is kind of special in this game.
Yes, after the Seraphim purges, which is what they were just talking about, the Seraphim going off and killing the vampires at the Circle's behest, there are not many. In fact, I think Vorador was the last until we got turned.
Right. What's this?
Through this magic, I can stop my enemies in their tracks. Frozen in time,
Time
they can do nothing to
freeze.
hinder their own doom.
That's a good spell.
Sometimes I draw out their fate, for the added fear sweetens their blood.
Kane is not a good guy, and I love it.
Kane is very much not the good guy in this game.
Here, come up a little further.
Who's that will-o-wisp?
He's going to be
The
a
axes.
Willa dead. Yep. What were we saying before plot stuff? Oh, yes, Ni no Kuni, Studio Ghibli. Very, very good stuff.
Yeah, I'll pick it up. Might be my next game that I try out. I do have Resident Evil 3 waiting around.
Oh, the remake, I presume?
Yeah, the remake. Because it went down to a reasonable price finally, like $20 at least. And I was like, yeah, sure.
I bought that opening day because I was very, very excited. Resident Evil 3 was my favorite of the series back in the day until 4 came out. Of that era of Resident Evil 3 was my favorite. The top-down, fixed camera, tank, blah, blah, blah.
Same. I also really enjoyed RE3, especially with its ammo mechanics.
Yes. Yeah, it was the first time they really let you, like, play around with gunpowder and
Yeah,
making
combine
your
your
own ammo.
gunpowder into new and exciting things.
That is not in the remake, unfortunately. A lot of the things that the remake is fun. It's gonna sound like I'm trashing it right now.
It's fun, but it's not fun in the way you remember it, right?
Yeah, it doesn't do the choose your own adventure stuff. It doesn't do the ammo mechanics.
You can say all the things it does without spoiling me, but if you tell me what it does do, then you would be spoiling me. So you can't really say anything good about it.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you the things that you might be expecting that are not there, and it's most
I'm
of the
expecting
unique
a
stuff.
totally different experience.
It is. It is very fun, and it does kind of capture. What I will say is that it does kind of capture that feel that Resident Evil 3 was more
Run and gun
combat-y. Yeah, it was less survival horror and more combat-y than 1 and 2 were, and it definitely. Wow, fuck this guy.
This guy's killing you.
Yeah, this guy's. We're gonna have to do something about this. And especially in comparison to the remake of 2, it serves a very similar purpose. Less strategic, more visceral, and it's fun.
That's cool.
And it does it well.
As long as it does it well. I've liked the last couple of RE games I've played, so which was 2 and 7.
There is also a severe lack of giant waifus as far as Resident Evil is concerned now in 3, so if that's a disappointment, I'm sorry.
I do not fucking care. That stuff exhausts me so bad. I can't stand it.
I mean, it looks good. I haven't played the demo.
I'm sure it's gonna be great. I just do not care that there's an 8-foot tall woman in it. I don't need her to step on me, okay?
I haven't heard anything about that game except like about Lady Dimitrescu, or about the demo rather.
That's all I know about the fucking game, and I'm not gonna play the demo either because I usually don't like to play demos for games I'm super excited about.
Normally I agree, but the beginning hour was so good and different than what Resident Evil 7 turned out to be. I only played it in retrospect.
Oh, that's cool. So it was good. But it was different from RE7.
So it was, do you remember the first videotape you find in 7 where you play the cameraman and the film crew?
Yeah, you play the cameraman and the ghost hunting show.
It's that, but there is an extra PT-esque puzzle attached to it. And
Oh, that's cool.
there's also a couple of different ways to escape the house other than fall down the hole and get murdered.
Get murdered. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
You
Sounds fun.
find that tape in the beginning hour, and it is
There's
basically
multiple ways
showing.
to handle it.
Yeah, it's basically showing what happened to Clancy between that tape and the DLC stuff where he's playing blackjack and shit.
Yeah, we know what happened to Clancy. Fucking everything.
Everything happened to Clancy, and none of it was good.
None of it was good.
So with that kind of precedent, I kind of do want to play the RE8 demo just in case they do something like that.
Yeah, why not? I'm just usually like, if I don't have this incredibly, if I'm not incredibly drawn to it, I'm not going to bother with the demo because I just like to get the experience blind. And for RE7, that was really strong.
I would go so far as like maybe go check out the beginning hour. It's only a like little 2-hour thing. I mean, you've already played 7. It's not like there's anything left to be spoiled on.
I guess not.
So now that we're down in the Termagant forests, the swamp area, we've got like more wolves, and we've also got these like spitting trees. Yep. And this.
What's that?
When in mist form, I am invulnerable
Oh,
to physical
mist could
weapons,
pass.
blade and claw. I can seep through locked doors and cracks and move
Mist
swiftly
could
like
pass.
a shadow fleeing light.
This is our fourth and final transformation. You can go, as he just said, through gates and certain semi-permeable doors. You can also walk on water. And that's why at the beginning, when I was doing the Moon Gate, you're technically supposed to wait for that one that I had to run through the water to get. But Moon Gate, though...
I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be right back.
I'll be here. Killing these pickaxe guys. You can kill... you can use the axes, and if you can get out in time... you can manage to leave them dazed and drinkable, but it's tricky just because of how fast you spin. And like your other transformations, your mist will drain your magic as you are in the form. Something pulling me against the flow there. We're going to want to do a little bit of prep for these guys, because we are going to want to cast Reflect.
Iron sword.
There we are. Now, I wonder... Nope. Oh no! Zappa Slave, I'm so sorry! Oh, that is tragic. Mostly because it is so famously difficult to emulate. Like, how does one play Banjo-Tooie in these days? I liked Banjo-Tooie. There, I said it. Okay. What are we going to want to do here? First, we're going to want to heal. I would imagine with a software mod. I don't know. I don't actually have much in the way of I've never really done much in the way of N64 emulation. I just know it is infamously difficult to get working. Ah, man. I lost my 64 also years ago at this point, but like I had a good collection of cartridges, and I ended up having to sell them to make rent money, but like I lost Banjo-Kazooie 1 and 2, I lost my GoldenEye, now Ocarina of Time and whatnot. I lost my Mischief Makers. I lost, what was that
Shake
one? Shake Shake. What was that other one? You introduced me to it in college, actually. The robots and the bomb train. You gotta clear a path.
Oh, Blast Core.
Blast Core, yes. I was very bad
Blast
at
Core
it.
fucking owns. Yeah.
But, yeah, I lost
Blast
that.
Core is so fun.
So I know your pain, Zappaslade. Oh no, fuck. I can't. I don't have the magic. Alright. Well, I got the hearts. I got 2 hearts and lost 1. It's fine.
The Heart of Darkness.
Just gonna run. Just gonna fuck off.
Yeah, I just played Mischief Makers with Ty on his Cyber Couch feature. It's where we use Parsec to play the game over with the same inputs. You know, passing the controller back and forth.
Oh, I see. I see. Interesting. I caught part of that stream, but like I didn't know the whys and hows of how it worked. That
Yeah, it
makes
was
sense.
both of us were controlling it, but you know, only one at a time.
So here's a good time to show off the mana bank. I need to get through there, but now I have infinite magic for a short time. I can do anything I want until the time runs out. Oh, I mean, I can get fucking stopped by that jerk. No, it runs out. It also runs off when you change rooms. I don't remember. Oh, it also gets you over spikes as well.
Please help me, kind sir.
There's a pit there.
Please help me, kind sir.
So these gravity traps, they affect you more as mist. When you have a body, it's easier to walk away from them, though, as you can see, they're still kind of a pain in the ass.
Mist could not pass.
Mist could not pass. Sometimes mist could pass. Sometimes mist could not pass. And we got some ghosts, which is good, because I need magic. With the aristocrats and their blue blood.
Is your bar the symbols lit up at the top, or is it the ball?
It is the symbols.
Oh, it's the symbols. Okay.
Yes, that's your mana meter, and then the vial on the left is your blood, your health.
Okay, so who are we trying to kill now?
Well, we went to the Oracle to get advice. We're still trying to kill Malik. Malik is still, like, the fucking guy in our sights. And
Okay.
the Oracle told us to go to the Termagant Forest.
Oh, right, to
and
go
seek
see
out Vorador. Yes, Vorador is going to help us kill Malik. Because Vorador killed him once before, and theoretically, he can do it again. All right, I think we're back onto a secret now. Let's see, 22. Yeah, so the next secret would be go back to Noctome and go through that one moon cave. Not doing that, already did it. Wasserboot and the camp. Not gonna go to the camp just yet because we probably want to keep. We'll make sure we've got a bat tower to get back to. There's also hold on. There's secrets mechanic in this game where certain locations and things will unlock your secrets right there in the middle of the screen, and it changes your title at the bottom the more you unlock. We have upgraded from Whelp to Gimp. That's all it does, but there is a lot of interesting stuff and a lot of good items that you collect in the process, so I am going to be seeking them out. Most of them aren't too bad, except for the moon doors to the moon caves, which I was mentioning earlier, but
Yeah, I
You've
heard
gotta-
you can only access that during a certain phase of the moon in game, which is every like 6 hours or so.
2 hours, yeah. Fortunately, I can let the game run between streams and just tick that time off, so we don't have to sit here
Sure.
and wait for it. Although there is
course.
one point toward the end where that might bite me in the ass, but we'll deal with that when we get there. We might end the game.
There was one indie game that forced me to do that, and I thought it was kind of clever for it.
Forcing you to
Play during the actual phases of the moon.
Spiked
Oh.
mace.
there was that
Do you know that one?
not that I know. No, it's not ringing a bell.
It's almost a spoiler if
The
I say what
axes.
game it is now, because that's like the puzzle you have to figure out, that you have to play during the phases of the moon.
Oh, tell me in private then. I'm willing to be spoiled
Yeah.
on it, but other folks maybe would like to not. The only comparable thing I can think of is, wasn't there like a Game Boy Advance like vampire game where you had to charge your sun sword by
That's Boktai. You're thinking.
Boktai? Yeah,
That's a Kojima game.
that sounds like a Kojima mechanic.
Iron sword.
It was a game from before I left for Denver, so it was like 2010 to 2012, 2013 maybe.
I remember when I worked at GameStop, it was one of the, like, if we get it in stock, there's a list of people who want it type things.
Yes, it was a very rare game. It's very hard to find, Boktai. What else is on sale? Oh, Mori's on sale.
Ooh,
It just came out, and it's already on sale for $16.
I don't know if that bodes good or well. Good or ill. Probably
I'm
good.
making a video about it because I have complicated feelings on it.
Mhm.
And you know, you see a lot of people talking about it, but they're just flat out praising it, you know? And I feel like there are things that you can criticize it for. I haven't really put my thoughts on it yet.
I know nothing about it other than it turns real grim toward the end.
Yeah.
Maybe grim is not the right word, but like there's a drastic tonal shift toward the end that makes you feel a little
Yes, you definitely feel the tonal shift at the end. I think Scruffapone in chat would agree with me, because I'm pretty sure they were there for that.
The blood of ages.
But yeah, that's why I'm writing a video about it, to like sort my thoughts out.
Come, drink from us.
Real quick heads up, we did this last time. He's not actually going to say the word, but there is a small area in this game of a roving band of individuals that have a word attached to them. Kane
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
says it. The
He's gonna use the
Romani.
G word.
Yeah, sorry. It is what it is. Just if
This
that's,
is a game from the 1990s.
Yeah, this game came out in '96. Be warned.
I've been seeing that a lot lately because I've been watching somebody play Mother 3.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And once again,
that
I got.
translation was from 2013, and yeah.
We're going there now, though I think this is the wrong direction. So just like last time, I jumped the gun on where we were on it. Anyway,
Okay.
Omori, weird tonal shift toward the end.
Yeah, I think my main thing, one of the few things I can really like impart on other people, is I think it keeps you in a state of stress for a very long period of time at the end, and I think that's almost a dangerous state to keep your player in without like some kind of catharsis. Like I think that's something that Lisa did very well, was balancing your moments of horror with your moments of lightness, or at least something less than that. You know, it got less and less towards the end. It didn't hit as well. Let's say they were making a statement about addiction and that. But I think Lisa as a comparison works really well for me because of how balanced the tone was overall. You know, even though it was about a very serious and awful thing.
Yeah, but it definitely, like, and a lot of that game was very silly and in its own way, and very what's the word, lowbrow.
Yes.
In a way to offset that.
Omori does a really good job of being an interesting RPG for like a good 16 to 17 hours, and then the last 2 to 3 hours are spent in like horror, and you have to deal with that for those 2 to 3 hours, and it's a bit much in my opinion.
Because I've definitely played like some horror games that do that. This is the secret.
Can you think of any in particular?
Yes. Real quick though, this is the secret area we were heading to. We had to cross this river, get down here, grab a couple of items, and this mana increase. And then we are next heading to Wasserblund. Okay. Slenderman. The Arrival. Is basically that. I don't know if you played it. It's only about 2 or 3 hours long.
It's the one where you collect the notes in the forest, right?
Well, that is Slenderman: The 8 Pages. That was the little flash game.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the progenitor to that.
Yeah, Slender: The Arrival. One of the levels is that, almost like beat for beat.
Okay.
But there are more levels than that. But they are very similar. One of them is you're running around in like an abandoned mine trying to get gasoline for these generators to open the elevator. It's only about 10 minutes if you know what you're doing, because there's a random factor, like the gas and the generators are always in different places. But
it's a lot more complex than that, though.
Yeah, there's multiple floors and there's a lot of shit going on, but it is just nothing but stress that entire time.
And it's very stressful to be in that period, in that state for a long period of time.
Yeah, it is not fun to play. Like, I did it, but it was not enjoyable. I didn't like it. And
yeah, it,
on the one hand, like, you know what you're getting into when you buy a Slenderman game, you know what it is, presumably. It wears that on the face more than something like Omori, I assume, would.
I feel like people should know that about Omori, and I think some people would be more intrigued by hearing that. So they, hey, some people really want to consume that kind of stuff, and it's like fun and exciting to them. I know, because I was one of those people, and that was around the time that I first played Lisa. Nowadays, like, when I get into my deep gut punch games that I play, like Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass, which has a big gut punch to the player at some point and is very famous for it, but I won't spoil it for you. It's almost as if that trope has become more popular over time. And Lisa is definitely one of those gut punch games, because you've played Lisa.
Yes.
You know where the fucking gut punches are.
There are several.
There are several, but most especially the ending of it.
Yes.
The end of Lisa is where they punch you in the gut and then they walk away and they say, "That's all you fucking get," and they leave you with that.
Real quick, this here is secret number 24. Smash this pillar, get some items.
Out of what, 100?
Out of 100.
That's a lot of secrets.
There are a lot of secrets, but they will come faster than you think.
They're clustered together, is what you're saying?
Yes. There's one particular area where there's a lot of them clustered together to the point where it is fucking comedic. But we're not there yet. We're getting there. We might actually get there today. Although it is behind a moon gate, so that might be next time.
But yeah, I think overall Omori is interesting and probably worth playing if you can handle a bit of a sucker punch to the gut.
I think I can deal with that. I'm trying to think, like, what are my gut punch games that I can think of?
The axes.
Last of Us.
Last of Us, yeah.
I know you really like that game, so I figured that would be one of yours.
Last of Us 2 had the potential to do that in some really interesting ways.
And did it?
So it did. It didn't not do that. I'm actually considering like writing up a thing about Last of Us 2 just because I recently replayed it for the extra trophies they added in. Hold that thought.
The Black Forest reigned here, its kingdom rarely invaded by those that live in the light. But it was called home by this mysterious Vorador. Legend told of a time when Vorador defeated Malek.
Okay, we're getting to the forest now.
If such a man did exist, then he could perhaps be the key to defeating the Ward.
He refers to Malik as the Ward, just he is the Ward of the Seraphan. That's his way of being a petty asshole about it, because we are Cain. We are petty asshole.
All right, so you were thinking about, doing a video on
I was thinking about it, yeah. I gotta get my thoughts more in order. Last of Us 2
Write a script first.
Yeah, no, definitely. You've heard me ramble on these many times unscripted.
Yeah,
I am much better with a script. But there was a lot. I can see a lot of potential in a parallel universe where they could have turned it into 2 games, and it would have been real. It would have done a lot of what they wanted to do really, really well, and maybe not have had to fucking grind their staff into dust in the process.
Right. Yeah, that would be ideal.
Would be preferable.
Yeah, if you need help making a video, you know who to call. I have a bit of experience.
Yes, I will definitely hit you up in that. I am still...
I mean, I know Premiere the best, so other programs I won't be able to help as much on, but for encoding and stuff, I can tell you what settings to use.
Okay, this is not the way to go yet. Double checking something I suspect.
I think the Shrike has a bit of a point there. It's possible there's been a move towards handling long-term emotions and personalities in gaming, that the number of games daring to take on tough topics has increased in the last decade. Definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And like
that's like growing pains of the genre trying to mature, you know?
Sure, and I am all for that, 100%.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, actually. I don't think it hits every time, but I think it's really fun to see. I think there have been quite a few successes. I think Lisa's one of those big successes.
It's just the natural it is the natural extent of growing as an art form. But it has to be done well, and it has to be done with care. And like the go-to example right now, I don't know if you've been following it, but Bloober Team fucked up recently real hard.
Oh man. Yeah, I've been following it, absolutely. I saw the ending. I hated it.
Me too.
I didn't really see the rest of the game, so I can't comment on the rest of the game as a whole.
I saw bits and pieces.
Problems.
Yeah. I actually got into kind of a civil argument about it with another friend of ours about, you know, where that line is, and I think we came to like a reasonable understanding of where we were both coming from.
Oh yeah.
They'd also not played the Medium, which is the game in question, if you're unaware, blissfully somehow.
Right.
But
man, so many people are. I look up a hashtag now and again just to see what people are saying about it, and it's just praise. Just praise and praise and praise and praise.
Yeah, completely uncritical, and it's kind of sad.
It's very uncritical, and I'm wondering what kind of. I'm wondering more about people's relationships to the media that they consume, and if they just consume, or if there is any critical thought about that.
Spiked
And I
mace.
know it's like, well, of course they're not thinking about it, you dumbass. Well, look at the reaction to something like the medium. That's what's giving me pause, you know.
I'm gonna go into that cave over there on the left.
And this has become more clear to me after hearing people like Bob elucidate a lot of things. How trauma is one big incident that happens, and everything can be traced back to that one. You know, they're common themes of shittiness that. And I've been kind of comparing this to Lisa just to see if it checks any of those boxes, you know, and it tends to stay away from them. You know, like Brad has a pattern of abuse in his life, and how it was no one single thing that happened to him. But it's frustrating to see.
Real quick to interrupt, we found another blood fountain. This increased our strength even more, so now we can push even bigger boulders.
Very good.
Yeah, and I had a couple of like moments even in Lisa where it was like, well, see, the thing that gets me, and the medium is very guilty of this, and Lisa is guilty of it a little bit too, where it lies
The cycle.
Yeah, it lies on a cycle of abuse, like the notion that as a victim you are destined to become an abuser, and that is really hits me the wrong way.
That's partially true in Lisa. That's partially, but not entirely true in Lisa. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the one thing that Joyful does that I'm kind of okay with is it does try to at least explain a little bit of how Buzzo is and how it's affected him. Because if he had just, knowing what we learn at the end, if Buzzo had just been an unrepentant monster, then it would have really annoyed me more.
He was tempered by a certain kind of abuse from Lisa. To an extent.
The axes.
Well, yeah, and more the fact that we can see how he feels toward Buddy toward the end. Like, he softens.
Yeah, he does soften up a bit.
So
he has no intention of hurting Buddy unless it can hurt Brad.
And these artifacts will be yours.
And we've hit another Spirit Forge. This is for the antitoxin item.
You come to the Spirit Forge for help.
There's a school of thought where explaining something more takes away a bit of the magic of it. Sometimes, but I liked when things have a clear explanation that you can understand and accept as a person. Like, when someone tries to explain the plot of Silent Hill 1 to me, and that makes sense to me because, more or less, if you can accept that magic is real, then fine. You can accept the plot of Silent Hill 1.
And it depends. Like, you know, it depends on what kind of story they're trying to tell. Like, Silent Hill 1, sure. Silent Hill 2, for example, I don't really need to know a lot. For Silent Hill 2 to work, I need to know who James is. I need to know who Angela is. I need to know who Eddie is. It's much more of a character piece. The specific ins and hows and why Pyramid Head can whatever, like, it's not important to me. I don't give a shit.
That's not important at all. Also, stream's paused.
Oh, no.
Spiked mace.
Oh no! Don't cancel your. Okay, yeah, you got it. It's back.
Oh, the side stream is paused. Okay, I was like, no, it's not. I'm looking at it right now. I'm just on the pause screen.
I like how we got into geometric philosophy here.
Well, we are kind of hitting a point in the game where there's a lot of dead air, so you know, filling is good. What am I doing?
Good. So you must be glad I'm here then.
Yeah, very. Last time I was kind of just talking to myself a bunch.
What did I do when I played this game in college? Man, I must have been just staring at the screen like a dumbass. Like,
Listen
what the
to
fuck
music?
do I do now?
Put
Rocco,
anime
tell
on in
me,
the background.
please.
Put anime on in the background.
Did
been
they?
watching.
Did we?
I don't know. That's what I do. That's how I've been watching GT.
Yeah. I can't wait till you get to Super, because that's really fun.
Well, I finished GT today.
Oh, you did? Good. You can get to Super now.
It was so bad.
Imagine if it were like a little better than that, but still entertaining.
Hopefully,
maybe it's like way better. I don't know. I haven't watched all of GT.
We're gonna want.
And
that.
also, City Beatnik. The only reason I got through this game was because I had this motherfucker standing next to me telling me where to go the whole time. I had a coach for it.
Ah, here we go. All right, this is the thing that's gonna make me very happy. This is a spell we're gonna get, and yay.
And a save point.
And a save point. Save early, save often. Especially apparently if this game has some small instabilities.
Oh man, I have some
Shattered.
opinions about Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
I started it and could not get through it.
I finished it. I kind of enjoyed it on my first run through. But
I got so fucking bored, and that's not a good place to be in a Silent Hill game.
no, it's not. I can't say it's for everybody. And
This spell
like
allows
watching
me
it
to use
again, the
blood from
dialogue
my
kind of
own
really
body as
sucked.
a weapon. When struck, my enemy's blood would flow
Yeah,
from their bodies
it was
to
rough.
fill me
It was
with
very
life.
rough.
'Tis
I
a
was watching
risk,
Doc play
yet
it
the
recently.
rewards are a
I watched Voidburger's LP of it. That's how I got Silent Hill.
Yeah, Voidberger did a very comprehensive LP of it, and then, really investigated everything in it.
So here is the spell I was referring to earlier. This is
Spiked
one of
rays.
my favorite.
Oh, is this the drink spell?
Kind of, yeah. You, well. Now, take note of the vial when I throw the bolt. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a risk-reward thing. Never mind. Straight up reward.
Okay.
I thought you lose a little bit of health, and then if you miss your health, you've lost it. Never mind. You hit him and you drink. It's great. There's an improved version of it later on, but for now, that's going to be a thing that helps us quite a bit. Anyway, and tying back into what we were talking about a minute ago, I don't know if you follow the Great Debate channel.
Yes, they put out a new video, and I started listening to it. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I do need to finish it.
It's Bob and VB kind of just waxing about Silent Hill possibilities, and they do what they do. Oh, so there's what happens if you get poisoned. That
That's a
blob I
point.
hit.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we have a solution for that.
All right. There you go.
Cleansed.
And yeah, I mean, Bob is a really good video editor in general, and can make a pretty good video even when he's just riffing on a topic. And he's talking about one of the things he knows really well, which is Silent fucking Hill.
I am still. If Bloober Team does end up making the new Silent Hill, which is a rumor, a theory proposed by this video, if that happens, I will. I'll be cautiously optimistic because ultimately I want to like it.
I agree with you. But I probably won't end up playing it unless it's on PC immediately.
The axes.
I don't know. Here's the funny thing about Silent Hill is that I've kind of made peace with certain things, like the idea of never seeing another Silent Hill game. I've made peace with that idea. I'm good to let new franchises do things.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need a Silent Hill, but I have not had anything that fills that particular niche.
RE7 was the most successful in my recent memory.
Got close. RE7 got close to that. Loved RE7.
It was really good. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, no, loved RE7.
But since then, I haven't had a legitimately frightening experience. Certain parts of Omori were pretty frightening. Let's be honest here. It deals with some weirdly relatable things, without spoiling anything, escapism and forgiving yourself, and and when you get into weird topics like that, it's hard not to feel a bit of empathy for the characters.
I think I need to let my mana heal for a little bit.
Oh, that happens. That's fine.
It will restore, just kind of slowly. You can eventually find blood fountains that make it restore faster. I think I already got one, but one moment.
Is it funny that I don't remember this part of the game at all? Like the gameplay element of it?
So this is a part where you can actually get lost very easily. Someone mentioned, hold on, scrolling back through chat. I can't find it. Someone mentioned earlier that they got lost earlier at this part of the game, and it's because if you push through the swamp, you go straight to Vorador's mansion.
Okay.
But you need the spells in these dungeons in the first part of the swamp to get through the mansion. So you can get there and then be stuck and not necessarily know why, because you walk past the spells on the way.
Okay, but that green orb, that's mana, right?
Yes. So that might be why that is my guess as to why you are, I don't remember exactly, but I'm guessing you might have gotten stuck at this point and I had to just kind of like walk you through this section to show you where these things are, and because it was such a mechanical process, it maybe didn't stick in your memory so much. He hypothesized. Like I said, this game has faults. Lots of them. I love it. It's very much a game that was made in 1996, though. When in doubt,
mace.
wonder what kind of blood these guys have. Oh shit. Black blood, it hurts.
That looks like black.
Yeah. Fucking dry bones, motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I need to heal, and I need to kill that guy, and figure out what is a switch.
Yeah, I could see. How was your? Out of curiosity, this is going to seem like it's out of nowhere, but what was your impression of Undertale having finally played it?
I liked it. I appreciate what it was. I appreciate the message it was sending, even though that message, the pacifism, and also the and I watched a couple of videos after it, and it may have influenced my thinking in this part, but like the
H-Bomb did a video on it that was pretty comprehensive.
It was pretty good, and it kind of formed the theory, like the backbone of the theory that I was working off of. That like it hit me very personally, especially with my trophy huntiness, where the need to finish a thing is not, it's going to prevent you from enjoying the thing in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly with that genocide run, which I will never fucking do again. But like that particular thought hit really hard once I found the Switch version has a
special battle.
Yeah, with the Mew Mew kitty face or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah, Mew Mew Kitty Chow or something. I don't fucking remember.
My first thought when I found that out was like, oh, I want to buy it on Switch and see what that's like. Fucking Toby Fox.
God damn it, Toby.
Well, Toby would be so disappointed in me for having that thought, I feel.
No,
know, you have an extremely completionist gamer mindset, so
And
of course you do.
And I suspect so does Toby. Like, I mean, this might just be me projecting, but I suspect Toby might also, and this was his way of working that. Here's another spell dungeon that we need in order to get through the coming major area. And this is a fun one.
Which guy is this?
Which we're still on our way to Vorador. We haven't gotten to Vorador yet.
Oh, right, yeah.
But we
That's
need
right.
this.
This game has some pacing. Like,
Yes.
it's like for a while you don't kill anybody from the 9,
When I
right?
release
Some 9
my
pillars.
grip, their bodies will shrivel and die.
And
as I
then
displace
you
their
kill like 3 of
souls
them real
and
fast.
replace them with my
Yeah.
own.
There is
It's like the
that
10
is
wise men in Star Ocean 2.
yeah. Oh god. That is something that evens out as the games go on. So we have a control mind spell, right? We've got this fella up top there. There's a switch on the wall. Hello. Damn it. Hello, meat puppet. So we are in a shield while this is happening. Thankfully safe. And Meat Puppet did his job.
Thanks, Meat Puppet.
Now Meat Puppet is dead. You can't get through Vorador without this. And if you... And that's what I was talking about earlier. There are parts of Vorador's mansion you need to control people to hit switches and things. And that's why a lot of people get stuck. They can also pick up things on your behalf, and that just transfers back to your body. Don't ask. Don't question it. This is also where I was mentioning earlier, you can kind of screw yourself by killing the wrong people at the wrong time. Not in, like, a soft-locky kind of way, but out of a few secrets and things. They were at least good enough to make sure you can't soft-lock yourself that way. This isn't Sierra we're dealing with. Although it is worth noting, you can't get skeletons. Humans only. Oh, I might be able to do this on one guy. Oh, hey. Zoom. They give you 3 there because they're expecting you to die, and one guy. Alright. Kill me. There was actually, remember when we did the Trilby, the Chizo games last year?
Yes. What about them? Sorry, I was typing a thing. I was.
Oh, no
away
worries.
For a second.
There's Yahtzee did a different game, like a space adventure thing that...
Yeah, what was that called? I watched a playthrough of it.
I've watched the playthrough. I don't want to play it. It looks not good. But it's called Adventures in the Galaxy of Fantabulous Wonderment.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. It's not bad from what I remember. I remember thinking it was pretty competent.
It was fun to watch. I don't think I'd want to play it.
Right.
But they have this mechanic in there where you send down red shirts to planets to do like the adventure game puzzle parts. And part of the puzzle is you have to figure out how to kill them so you can revert control back to the people on the ship. The mind control stuff just reminded me of that. And that's like a kind of a fun mechanic that I would like to see implemented in another game. I got a couple other of Yahtzee's games that I might stream at some point if folks are interested. Poacher, for one, is just really fun.
What's that about?
You are a Yorkshireman who has to escape out of a pit to the center of the earth that he fell in with nothing but his trusty shotgun.
Okay.
Oh, no! Oh, fuck me. Did I just do what I think I did?
What'd you do?
It's fine. No, I didn't. I'm fine. It's fine. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Okay. I accidentally loaded my save game, but I had just saved like a second before, so it's fine. It's a Metroidvania. Poacher. So let's see. We've gotten a couple of secrets out of order. Yeah, the rune triangle and the blood vial. Those that we were getting with the... Oh, there's a bunch of secrets in this dungeon. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to have to figure out... Didn't do... Okay, so we are going to have one. We are going to have missed one by the time we're done. Got it. So let's... Everyone, Area 2. We got the blood triangle and the... Yep, we got the rune triangle and the blood vial from here. We got those. Flip the switch behind them. Up the stairs. Heart of Darkness. We did that one. From where the lone guy in the northeast... Let's see. Lone guy in the northeast of this room. Go through the door on the north wall. Walk through the door, find an energy bolt straight up. Oh, I guess I... Did I not do that? Let's see. No, here we go. Guess not. Yeah, see, in this stuff, like... Yeah, apparently I just gotta fire into that. Into the void. That's a secret. I would never have thought to do that on my own. One of the guys on the left, make him walk the hall. Oh, this is going to show off something cool we can do with the mind control spell. So. Over here, we've got to navigate this little path. And our meat puppets are very delicate, so we don't want to hit anything. But we get to this teleporter. So this is the back door to the Spirit Forge that we haven't actually gotten to yet, but here we are now.
Like a different part of the Spirit Forge?
Yeah, every Spirit Forge has a back door, just a teleporter somewhere that you can get into them from a different spot. It's just a secret way to get there, and it's a secret 1 out of 100. But in certain cases, if you mind control a person, their blood spends just as good as our blood. Why not spend their blood to get a bunch of free shit? I think I will. Their
Sounds
blood,
like a good deal.
Their blood spends a little more gruesome than our blood, but hey. Free stuff. With blood. We still have to go to that Spirit Forge in order to get the secret for finding it, because there's one for finding it and one for finding the back door. We found the back door, but we still got to go there. Fortunately, it's very close. And finally, over on this side of the room. Dodge the skeletons. No, Mr. Boney, don't.
Okay, your thing paused again, but don't fix it unless you've saved recently.
I'm not gonna fix shit.
Okay.
I'll fix it before I move on. Right now, I'm just hunting a secret, so we're fine.
Yeah. You know, the dungeon crawling in this game reminds me of Secret of Evermore a bit. They're all kind of dark and hard to navigate.
I've never played Secret of Nevermore.
Secret of Mana or Secret of Evermore?
Evermore. I played a little bit of Secret of Mana, your Super Nintendo cartridge, I believe.
Oh yeah, because it was multiplayer.
Yeah, because we were gonna get the multi-tap, and we got that going one night. Yeah, but I didn't play like. I wouldn't say I played a substantial amount. Just.
Mm-hmm. It's a classic, Secret of Mana, but Secret of Evermore is like the modern sci-fi twist on that RPG formula, and it kind of works, but it's not a two-player game, despite having a boy and his dog be the two player characters for the entire game.
Didn't they recently do like a PlayStation 4, Xbox One port thing for that?
Maybe. Not that I know of.
I know one of the... Oh, or maybe I'm thinking of the Tales of whatever.
You might be thinking of a Tales of something.
It was either a Secret of something or a Tales of something, but there was like a recent reissue.
Trials of Mana?
That sounds right.
Yeah, Trials of Mana is Secret of Mana 2 re-released. It had a SNES ROM that you could get translated, and that was how a lot of people played it in the States. And then they did a 3D remake of it. And I recently got Jay playing that. Because we used to play Mana as a kid.
I got lost in that dungeon, and I decided I didn't want to run around anymore. I'm just going to warp back to my fucking...
Sensible.
Pit. Because I think you're not meant to go back in there, so I don't know if I, locked myself inside. But that's fine. I have teleportation spells. I have one very specific teleportation spell that can take me to one very specific place. Anyway, sorry. Secret of Evermore. Oh, because it reminded you of the dungeons in this game, because they're dark and difficult to navigate. Yeah.
The lighting's very similar.
How far into this series did you get? I want to say you only did the first 3 games, if I recall.
Only the first 3. Man, it felt like forever.
They get better as they go on, but the last 2 definitely have a bit of a drop-off.
They definitely did. It's just... they're just tough to play in modern day, I think. But I had a guide, so that helped. I remember Legacy of Kain pretty well.
Don't want to fly there yet. That's another thing. You can fly straight to Vorador's mansion, because they give you that vista at one point. And you can, and it'll take you there. But that'll bypass all of those 2 dungeons we just did, and there's one more. It's not necessary, but it gets you a very cool weapon.
Oh, a very cool weapon is very cool.
I like very cool weapons. It's super cool. Yeah, no, there's definitely pacing issues. Like, notice it's been about an hour and we haven't really done anything, beat-wise. We've just been kind of like going around collecting stuff that the game has not really pointed you at much. other than through, natural, like, ooh, explore, what's this? They do get you into like a mindset of like, well, I've got this map, I'm just gonna check all the corners and see what's there, and there's stuff in most of the corners, and that I do appreciate. I really get annoyed when, like, oh, hey, I climbed and I found this little offshoot room, or like a secret area or something, off the main path, and it's just nothing. Like, give me at least like a little something as a reward for getting there.
All right, I might go grab some dinner. I'll probably come back.
Go for it. I'm gonna keep trekking for a bit, but by the time we get back, we'll probably be at the castle. Or the mansion, rather. So this here, it's a little difficult to see, but there, with the mana bank spinning in front of it, but there is a crack in that wall that we can mist through, and that's what gets us into this Spirit Forge here. So now we have ticked off another... Oh, we actually got to use it first. Hold on. Once we...
Your blood for me, and these artifacts will be yours. So, you come to the Spirit Forge for help, do you, vampire? Trade your secrets for the blood of the dead, I will.
This time it is not free stuff, it is actually our blood.
Shed your blood for me, and these artifacts will be yours.
Here to... Oh, not this one. It was the antitoxin. Right. Wrong forge. Oh, that's why you can't pick that item up, I suppose. It kind of highlights the fact that that's where the Spirit Forge is for Energy Bank. See, we're just flush with items.
The Heart of Darkness.
And I don't think there is a Spirit Forge for the Heart of Darkness. If there is, I haven't found it.
Mace.
I've also never gone for the whole 100 secrets before, so using this guide, if there is one, we'll definitely find it. But that would be funny. Oh shit. Bad time for that to happen.
Shed your blood for me.
Did that?
And these artifacts will be yours. Shed your blood for me, and these artifacts will be yours.
Shed all the blood. Nope.
Shed your blood for me, and these artifacts will be yours. So, you come to the Spirit Forge for help, do you, vampire? Trade your secrets for the blood of the dead, I will.
Huh, that didn't do it. Well, I'm going to have to look that up on my own time then. I apparently have, I should be at 32. I've missed one at this point, but that's fine. I will go back and look for those later. In the meantime, we've got another smaller dungeon to go through.
Dark for me, and these artifacts will be yours.
Don't get caught, don't get caught. Nice. Yep, here we go. There should be a save. Yes. So this is going to give us a new weapon. Have I played any of the Hitman games? No, I have not. I've got a couple of them. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about Hitman 3, what just came out, but I have not personally played any of them. Sorry, reading something really quick. Yep, okay. I hear they're very I hear they are shooters for people who like puzzle games, and that's an interesting concept to me. Let me check my Steam library really quick. Oh, I've actually got a bunch. I must have got them in a bundle or something. Codename 47, Silent Assassin, Contracts, and Blood Money are all in my... those are all in my library. Found the hitbox sweet spot there. I've had the concept of the cock-up cascade in those games explained to me, and like that can be funny if it happens a few times. If it turns into like Super Meat Boy Hotline Miami levels of having to try and restart, then that might get frustrating after a while. What's the World of Assassination trilogy? Is that a particular subset of the Hitman games, I assume? The last three, okay. I remember, let's see, I worked at GameStop when Absolution came out, and I remember, that was the one with the rocket launcher nuns, I think, Absolution. That was a thing, that was what I remember being recent, relatively recent. So real quick, unlike equipment dungeons tend to give you the equipment as the reward for completing the dungeon, because unlike spells, there's not really a good way for them to incorporate, hey, here's newer, stronger weapon as like a mechanic to get you through the dungeon. So instead, you get them as the reward at the end. Unlock health and magic. And then we find the combination. Nope. usually 2 out of 3. Not always, though. It doesn't include these up here, does it? Oh boy, it does. Okay, I'm looking this up. I'm not experimenting and figuring this out again. It's all the red ones. You gotta turn off all the red ones. There we go.
The sword ravages flesh with teeth of metal and flame, leaving only scorched remains.
We have a flame sword.
Flame sword.
One-handed, so you can still cast spells and use items. Really good damage output like the axes. So best of both worlds as far as that's concerned, except the downside... doesn't leave you anything to drink. And if you hit,
Please,
burns them up.
kind sir. Please, help me, kind sir.
This is not required,
Me, kind sir.
but it is very good. Especially for when you're fighting enemies that you can't or aren't worried about drinking them. Then you can just straight up burn them. And it's fun. Okay. So there is... I alluded to it earlier, but there is a comically large pile of secrets in this game. And we can go there now if we wish, but it depends on the moon. Depending on what this moon phase looks like, we're either going to go there or we're going to step onto Vorador and can do that later. As you can see, the sundial is pointing, toward 9. I believe once it hits 10, it'll pull up the moon. Not gonna happen right now, I'm afraid. We will get there. In fact, we're probably going to start there tomorrow, or start there on Tuesday, because I can reset to a full moon. But for now. Now that we have the gear and the spells we need, we can either walk through all this or just fly. Because I'm a bat. And there we are.